Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Shogun.
Yeah, Satoshi. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Uh, we have a lot of things to cover today, and people need to just join the call on time so we can move fast. Let's hold on for the next 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes. So we'll start by 10 minutes past, or 10 minutes past three. So hope that's fine by us. Okay, thank you. Also, let's call our friends that are on the group to join the call. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, let's speak up. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah,
Hi, good afternoon.
yeah, Ibukun. Good afternoon, happy Sunday. So, let's start. Others will definitely join us. Yeah. So today, what we'll be doing majorly today is we'll be creating a small application. We'll be creating a small application using CRUD. Last week we were taught about CRUD operations. CRUD operation is just a basic create, read, update, and delete functionality. So whenever you hear CRUD, you should understand that what CRUD means is create, read, update, delete. I hope you understand that. And most websites use CRUD application for most of their functionalities. They use CRUD. For example, you go on a website and they collect your data. They say that okay, put in your first name, your last name, your email, your state, your date of birth, put it here, and you just put there. Okay, my name is Oluwasegun Ige Koko. My date of birth, blah blah blah, 2025. My state of origin, Lagos. You understand? And you decided to save that, and you click on that save button, bam, and everything just went away. You understand? That's a great functionality. I hope you understand that. Later on, let's say Mr. Shegun Jale Koko went home and he started thinking about it. Wait, is my name truly She? Did I spell that Ajale Koko very well? I'm not sure. I think where I should put K, I put O there. Okay. So what will I now do now? Okay, let me go back and update that record. You understand? So Mr. Shegun Koko comes back on the website. He gets his record and it's not like, okay, let me update it. So in that Ajali Koko, he now spelled the Ajali Koko very well. You understand? And he click on that submit for button again. And that thing submitted its application with the correct with the updated spelling for Ajali Koko. I hope you understand me. So that's the update of functionality. Later on, Mr. Shegun Ajanle Koko discovered that this website is a scam website. They are what's called they are leaking our data out to third party. I don't want my information there again. Mr. Shegun Ajanle Koko decided to work. So quickly rush to the website and say, this is my information here. I don't want it here again. He now look for his information, now click delete. And that thing now pops up. Are you sure you want to this your data? Mr. Jale Koko decides to click yes. I said help me delete it. That's functionality. I hope you understand that. So I've been able to, in a way, explain the concept of CRUD to us. Do you understand that? Please let me know. Is that clear? Thank you. Tosin. Okay. Tosin. Daniel. That's fine. So that's just the basics. That's the explanation of CRUD functionality. So we need to start now. And let me ask, how many of us have a GitHub account? You have a GitHub account? Okay. Toby, do you have? Okay, Daniel. Okay. Okay. Nice. All of us have GitHub accounts. That's good then. So let me quickly go on my own GitHub account. Let me create this application. Let me just call it Techhaven CRUD application. So I'll make it public for us. Okay. Everybody can access it. So I'll make it public. So now let me create a new Laravel package, a new Laravel application, like a new folder, a new application folder for Laravel. So the command we gave you the other time it's working. It's not like it's not working, but I don't like all those prompts that is always asking for your database type. I don't want to pre-select any of those information at the moment. So I will use this command. I will share this command with us. Let me just call this one. Let me just call it uh, bookkeeping. Bookkeeping. Bookkeeping application. So please let's pay attention. You see the difference between this command and the previous command. They are both going to create the Laravel application, so there's no issue there. But the previous command keeps asking questions, select, the type of database, all those prompts. I really do not like it. So I prefer going with this one. This one is like an old command that we've been using with Laravel back then. So can you see? It has created the application for us without any prompts. You understand? So me, I prefer this one anyway. So let me share this command with us on the group. So, okay. So I've created the application. So let me open it on my system. That should be Techhaven. Under Techhaven. So this is it. Bookkeeping application. Please, if you have any question, please let me know so that just speak out loud so that I will know. So this is our Laravel application. It's still my file is still indexing. Let me just give it some time. Mr. Adebayo has explained these folders for us, what they do. So we don't need to cram all those things anyway. Little by little, as we start making use of or working with Laravel, we'll definitely by default will know where to put in what and what, you understand. So you don't let it overwhelm you. Just keep calm and focus on what you are learning at the moment because it's a lot to take in. So you don't need to just want to grab everything. Grab what we are still teaching right now. That's the basis. With time, we'll get to you keep on interacting with the folder structure and you get to understand them the more. So let me initialize my Git here. So Git remote add origin to my URL. System again. Come in, please. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Oh, okay. So we are fine for now. Now, so let's quickly write something. A small, what's it called? A small code application that just takes in, what's it called? That just takes in my first name my first name, my last name, my email, and a text body. You understand? My first name, my last name, my email, and a text body. Something simple. Now, to start with that, this is my own method of writing code. The first thing I always do whenever I want to develop applications is that I will start from the route. I want to believe Mr. What's it called? Adebayo has explained the route to us. So I will start from the route. Let me just comment this. So let me create a new route. This is how to create routes in Laravel. So is a get function. I will explain this. Just keep calm. I will explain. A get function. Um, so let me just create like this. So these routes I want it to be the index route. So I'll just put it like this. And on that index route, what I want to show is I want it to go to this Laravel is an MVC structure, model view controller structure, or that's what it operates on. So we have something called models, we have something called views, and we have something called controller. So let me explain it. Controller, think of controller as your engine room where you write your logic, your code logic. You understand? That's where you write your code logic mostly. Why view? View is it's like it's what the user sees. You understand? It's the HTML part of Laravel where you write your HTML codes that is being displayed for the user to see. While your model basically interacts, it's your model basically interacts with your database mostly. You understand? Your model mostly interacts with your database. So I'm coming. So now the first thing I would like to do is that I would like to create a model and also create a migration file. So there's a command to do that in Laravel. So let me call the model name contact. It's just a name. Let me call it contact. So to create a model called contact, this is the command that we type PHP artisan make model, and the model name is contact. This is how to create model in Laravel. PHP artisan make full column. What am I making? Model is a model that I want to make, and the name of the model is contact. But also, there's a command in Laravel that I can use to make both models and migration files together, because model and migrations they work hand in hand. Like I said the other time, model are your data, they are related to your database. And when you want to create a database, there's something called migration in Laravel. You create your migration files. It's very important. It's not like you can't create tables on your MySQL on your database without being that. It's not like you can't create database or tables on your database or without using migration. It's possible you can do that. But the reason why it's important, while I will advise that you create or migrations for each table in your databases, because so that you can be able to keep track of your database. That's number one. Number two, if you want to roll back your database, it's easier with migrations. Once you've done migrations, Laravel out of the wood has find a way to make sure that your migrations can retrieve your table and can also any operation you want to perform in your database, you can do it with your migration files. It's very powerful. So please don't let us make that mistake of going on your database and manually creating table. Not because it won't work. Don't get me wrong. It will work. It will work. But there will come a time where you need to perform some operations in Laravel that you want it to affect your table. If those type of tables, if you do not create them with migrations, there's no way you can manipulate them from your Laravel environment. So that's why if you're a Laravel developer, not only a Laravel developer, even on other programming languages, don't manually create table. Create your table with migrations. It's helpful. So now let me create, before creating the table itself, the first thing I should do is, there's something called .env file. You'll see it, .env. So this .env is a configuration file about everything in your Laravel application. Many of us that have been writing programming language will know what .env stands for. It's a configuration file. Any configuration that you are doing in your Laravel application should be inside your .env file. You'll see that file called .env. So now, you can see the app name is Laravel. I can decide to change it to bookkeeping. This app key name, Laravel generated it for us while we are what? While we are installing that Laravel application. Let me go back on that terminal. You will see it. You see it there. And that app key is a unique key to identify your application. Is a unique identifier for your application. You can see it here. Can you see? PHP at Sankey generates. So Laravel by default generates your app key for you. Also, you can decide to change it. There's a command in Laravel that you can use to change it. But I'm not changing this. I'm leaving it like that. So this app URL is the URL for your application. Then this is what I want to focus on for now. So now, this is my database connection. Now, my DB connection is MySQL. I'm leaving it like that because I'm using MySQL database. My host is localhost 127.0.0.1. My port is 3306. It's default. I'm not changing. My DB database, I'm changing this. Instead of using Laravel, let me just use Techhaven. Let me create a database called Techhaven. Let me just put it together like Techhaven. My DB username is Chubelo. That's my own personal username, and my password is Chubelo. So let me go and open my database. So, this is my own database. Don't mind me. I'm using a third-party application. So let me create my own database, Techhaven. I think I name it Techhaven on the application. So this is it. So this is Techhaven. You can see a new DB, no table at the moment. So it's still fresh. So now after this, now I will jump out of this .env file for now. That's just the configuration I want to make there. Now let me create my model called contact, and I also want to create a migration file at the same time while creating that model. That's why I put in this -m flag. So you'll see what will happen. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me change this. Let me change this. Where is this? It needs to work on it. Let me restart. Let's restart it after this. Coming. It's bookkeeping application. So PHP make model contact -m. That's the flag. So you can see, look at it. So it has created the model under app/models folder, and the model name is what? Contact.php. Also, it created a migration file for me inside database folder, inside migration. So, and the name is this. You can see it's named it with a timestamp. That's the default creator of Laravel when creating a migration file. And the reason is so simple. The reason is because I can decide again to still create something like this. So it's uniquely identifying this file. I can decide to remove it, but I rarely remove the default migration file name in Laravel. Just put it like that. So create contact table. So let's go to our database folder. Let's look for the file. So this is the file. By default, these these 4 files comes with Laravel. I'm not the one that created this users table. This password is set token, this field job, this personal access token. I'm not the one that created them. and I can decide to delete them. It comes by default with Laravel. You can decide to delete them. It won't, there's no issue. Let me delete them. I can decide to delete them. So now, this is how my migration files look like. Inside my migration file, I have two functions. The first function here is the up function. What this means, let me explain this to us. Public function up. Up is the name of the function. And this void, what it means is that the response of this function is void. You understand? That is, after the compiler finish running this script, it should not return anything. That's the meaning of void. Void is an English word. Same for the second function. Down. It's also returning void. This method, this type of writing code is, like I told us the last time, is a type int method. It's not a must you type int your function in PHP. So PHP is not a strong type language, unlike some programming language like Golang or C# like that. I think Java also is a strong type language. Now, I always like to write this thing first in my migration file, and I will explain what it means. This if not schema as table, the table name contact. That is what this means is that each time I'm running this function, what it will first do is that it will first check if my database does not have this table name called contacts. If it has this table name called contact, it will not run this function because I'm going to put the logic of that function inside that if condition. You understand me? So I'm putting this logic inside this if condition. That is, if it doesn't have this, if my database doesn't have this table called contacts, then it should run this this logic. Now, I have table ID, I have table timestamp. Let me explain to us. This ID is a unique ID. You understand? And it's auto-incrementing. That is, if I'm saving my first record, the ID is 1. My next record, the ID is 2. Just think of your database as your. I want to believe that almost all of us on this call have worked with Excel before Google Sheets. You understand? We have something called rows and we have something called columns. You understand? Why this timestamp? This timestamp at the end of the day, when we create our database, you will see it in form of created at, and updated at column. Now, what are the things that we want to add on our, what are the columns that we want to add on our contact table? Number one, I want to add name. Don't mind me, I have AI assistance on my editor. That's why it's suggesting code for me. So I will explain what this means. I want to add name, I want to add email, I want to add, I'm not adding phone, table string, let me just call it message. Now, let me explain what this means. What I'm doing here is that I'm defining columns on my database. I'm defining columns. This ID already defined an ID column. This is a name column. This is an email column. This is a message column. And this string that you are seeing here is defining the data type for that column. What this means is that I want my name column to be a string, to be of string data type. Same for email, same for message. Then let me soft delete. What soft delete means is that this is not a column anyway. This soft delete is not a column. So what it means is that what was it called? I want each of my rows. When I delete a record on each of my rows, I want it to create a deleted. There will be a deleted at column. So each time I delete a record on my table, it won't permanently delete it on the DB, but the deleted at column will be updated with the current timestamp that I carried out that delete operation. That's the function. That's the work of soft delete. What soft delete means is that even though you deleted the record, I still have it on my database, but now I only updated the deleted at column. So now, I've created a very simple contact table. So now, how do I get this contact, how do I get this code to run so that my database, which is Techhaven, will be populated with that contact, so that we create that contact table. Because right now there's no contact table here, and the database name is Techhaven. So now, how do I do that? It's simple. So there's a command in Laravel called php artisan migrate. So before I run the command, let me explain. What PHP artisan migrate will do is that by default, it will come under this database migration folder. Any files, if it finds here that has not yet been migrated on your DB, it will migrate them. That's what it will do. But let's assume that Daniel wants to be smart and he doesn't want to create his own migration file inside this migration folder. Let's assume Daniel decides to create another folder. Look at it. Let me see. Let's assume that Daniel called that folder name path. And this file, he now decided to move it from migrations to path folder. Let's say he decided to just bring it here. Can you see? The file is now under path. Then Daniel wants to run the migration. What Daniel will do here is that he will write PHP artisan migrate, then he will add the flag. He will call it path, and he will now write the path to where it's pointing Laravel to go and migrate the files from, which will be database/path. So what Daniel is telling Laravel here is that, because by default, what Laravel will do when you want PHP artisan migrate is that it will come inside your migration folder. Any files that it finds there that has not yet been migrated, it will migrate it. But now Daniel is not telling Laravel that, no, don't go inside migrations folder. Go to path folder. This path is a keyword. Don't think that because this folder is path, that's why we are using that path there. Let me rename that folder. Let me rename it to path Lura. So this is still path. So, but what will now happen is that it will now be database/paths. You understand? But don't let me jump it for now. Let's go back to the default one for now. So let me move this file back to the default place. So it's inside migrations folder. It's inside migrations folder. So now what I will run is PHP artisan migrate. Before you run that PHP artisan migrate, be very sure that you have set your database credentials here. Your DB is MySQL, your host is 127, your port is 3306 by default, as long as you didn't change it. So you just need to go and create a database and give it a name. The name you give it, come and put it here. Your database, by default, your username, get your username out. Your password by default, if you just install the database, that XAMPP, then by default, your password should be empty. You understand? Unless if you touch the configuration. So me, I've tampered with my own configuration. That's why my own database password is Jubelo. I am the one that set it myself. So now let's run it. Let's see what will happen. Now look at the console. It said preparing database, creating migration tables, create personal access token, create contact table. Now let's see our DB. Now, can you see? I only created one migrations, but here we have 3 files. So I will explain. Look at this migrations table. By default, when you create migrations in Laravel will create something called migrations. So it will name the table called migration, and what will be on that table called migration are the files that you have migrated. So this create personal access token table was being migrated by default, and also this create contact. This is the one that you created. So now, if you remember, I said while I was explaining something here, I said when you run this command php artisan migrate, it will come to your Laravel will definitely by default will come to your database migrations folder and migrate the files that are yet to be that have not yet been migrated. So if you were me, I would have been asking that question: how will Laravel know that this file has not yet been migrated? It's very simple. This is how Laravel keeps track of it. That's why I said don't manually create table. Do it with Laravel. So this is how Laravel keeps track of the files that have been migrated. It has a migration table. So any files that you can find here, Laravel will not migrate it again. if you want PHP artisan migrate, it will not migrate it again, because what Laravel assumes is that you already have that table on you already have that file migrated. You understand? So that's how Laravel keeps track of files that have been migrated. You understand? So let's now say, let's see the table first. That contact table. This is the contact table. You can see the ID column, the name, the email, the message, the created that, the updated that, and deleted that. This deleted that column is being formed by that soft delete. This created that and updated that column is being formed by that timestamp that we created, that we met there. We are the one that created this message, email, name, this ID, we met it also there in the file. Now, look at the structure. This is the data type. For that ID is an integer. For the name is a varchar, is a string. I created it as string in Laravel. So string is varchar, and the default length is 255 unless I specify it in my migration file that I don't want the length to be as long as 255. I just want it to be what 20. I just want it to be 30. We can specify that. Email string, the default length is 255. Message string, the default length is 255. That's just that. Also, let me explain something. I'm trying to explain a lot of things, so please let's pay attention. Let's say Tinola has already created a contact table, and she now comes there. She saw name, email, message, and she was like, I want to still add one more column or two more columns. Maybe I'll add. Okay, let's start. Is that a question? Yeah, Daniel, I'm with you.
Okay, so I don't know if it's only me, but I'm only seeing just the run the migrations file and every other thing you are saying. It's not correlating with what I'm saying.
So you're not seeing my what's it called my table plus.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Who else
No,
is not seeing table
no, I'm
plus?
not to. I don't.
I'm seeing
Who
the
else?
table plot. I'm seeing
Oh,
it.
You are
I'm
seeing
seeing
my
the
table
table
plus.
plot. Yes,
Okay.
I
yes.
think
Can you check again?
I can see it now.
Okay. Okay. So now, thank you. So let's say Tinola now discover that I want to still add more columns to it. It's possible instead of Tinola coming here and deleting contact table and manipulating the migrations table to remove this. Tinola can still just come on Laravel and say, you know what? I already have contact table, yes. But I still want to modify. I still want to modify that contact table. So, so this is how Tinola can go about it. PHP artisan make migration, alter contact table. So let's see. So Tinola now creates another file, another migration file called alter contact table. So we still have that up and down function. So what Tino just needs to do is that, just like what I used to do. But this should not be, if this should not now have this not, so it should just be like this. So what this one means is that if schema have a stable contact, that is, if I have that stable contact, what should not happen? I'm coming. Let me just, yeah. So, so what I can just do is that I now say table, or let me put it as string. So what else can we add after name, email? What else can we add? Address. Let me just put address. So now I've created address column now. So I now want to add it after which column? After let me see our column here. After email column. I want to have it after email column. If I do not add this after there, if I do not add this after there, what it will do automatically if I migrate this value is that this address column will just be immediately after what's called by default. This is the table. Let's go back. By default, it will come after this deleted at column. And I don't want it to be there. I want it to be after my email. So the way we have after, we also have before. We also have before. So let me use after anyway. So after this column, so also for the drop, I think that's schema table. Oh, that should be drop column address. So what this drop functionality is doing is that if I run a Laravel migration command to drop my table, it will run this one. That's what it's doing. So now let me now run migration again. Look at what will happen. PHP artisan migrate. Remember, I've already migrated contact table. So now let me run migrate again. Let's see what will happen. PHP artisan migrate. Can you see? It's only ran this alter contact table because what Laravel does behind the hood is that it will first go and check that migration table. Look at this migration table. It has seen that there's a contact table there already. You understand? There's a contact table there already. Now, can you see the address now? The address is now after this email. You understand? Does that make sense? Any questions so far before we move? It's a lot to take in. I definitely understand. Yeah, I'm with you. Who wants to ask question? Okay, let's continue then. So I'm done with my migrations for now. Let me delete this path folder. Just delete it. Where's this delete? Okay. So now I've deleted my the path folder now. So the next thing I want to do inside this app folder, let me go to HTTP. We have controllers. By default, there's this controller.php file. I'm not in that. This is like a base template, but I'm not interested in that. Laravel already solved that headache for me, so that I won't have headache. So now let me create a controller file. Let me name it contact controller. So to create controller in Laravel, we also have command. So PHP artisan make controller. Let me call it contact controller. Please hold on. Sorry, just give me a minute, please. Apologies for that. Sorry. Apologies. Okay, so let's continue. So now, PHP artisan make controller, then the name of the controller file that you want to make. So I call my own contact controller. So now let's run it. You can see the file has been created inside app HTTP controllers folder. So this is it. This is contact controller now. So this contact controller. So like I said the other time, controller files are where you put in write most of your logic, or you write most of your logic, your application logic. That's where you write them. So let me still keep that one there. Let me go to my route. Let me go to my route now. So let's get this done. So this route get, what this means is I'm on my index page. I'm on my index page. So let me just call that contact controller class. And then yeah, let me just use this type things. I will explain it. So what this route is saying is this is very simple. This slash here is the index page. Then I'm pointing that index page to this this file, contact controller at index file at index method, and I'm giving that route a name. So let me just give it the name of let me just give it as home. No problem. So what will happen behind the scene is that, let's say somebody come on our website and on our landing page. If somebody comes on our landing page, for that landing page to display, it will first go through this function, this contact controller at index function. So now let me create this index function on contact controller because we do not have it at the moment. So let me just create as public function index. So public function index, that's my index function for my contacts. So now I'm yet to write any logic there for now. Let me just put it like this. So what I want to happen is that when somebody comes on a landing page, and then I route that landing page to this contact controller at index function, what I want this index function to do is that I just want it to display my form, which is the contact form. So simple. I'm not performing any logic than it to just display my contact form. So now to display my contact form, like I explained to us the other time, we make use of our view. So now let me create a view file. Let me call it contact.blade.php. Laravel's view are they are named as .blade.php. Is a way of Laravel templating the file. It's called .blade. Any file you want to create for any view file you want to create in Laravel must end with .blade.php. Please don't let us forget .blade.php. So it's very important. So now, in order not to waste time, let me copy out what's called I'm coming. Is it done? Let me just copy out an HTML page file for us to work with, because that will take time. So coming. So. Okay, so this is a contact form. So I'm taking in name, email, message. I think I've added something else to it, address. So let me just expand this div. Let me call it address. So address. The type is text. So address. So let me quickly explain some key concepts here for us to note. Now, this is HTML part anyway. So we make use of form. There's this HTML tag called form. It's very important for us to make use of whenever we want to undo or whenever we want to collect data on the front end. Form is a very important tag that we must make use of. The front end people that are joining us understand what I'm saying. So, but look at this thing. This this thing here at CSRF, it's what we call cross-site validation. So Laravel automatically has a function for it, and this is it. So each time you are taking in form, taking in user input on the front end, always pass this thing inside your form at CSRF is very, very important. So it helps. One of the functionalities of it is that it helps prevent against what's called SQL injection. You understand? So Laravel already handles that for us instead of us sweating writing those code manually. It's already Laravel already does that work for us out of the wood. So you put it here. Then now we are making use of div. I don't want to explain HTML syntax anyway. So we are making use of div. So we have name, the input type of text, name. We are telling it that is required. Same for email. The type is email. For address, this four here, the value you put in for this four here must be equal to the value you put in for the ID here. Is very important. So, and also the message. We are using text area instead of input for message, so that the box will be very big enough to type in anything you want to type in there. So, and then they click on this submit button. And once they click on this submit button, look at this form. We are passing a method called post there, and we are passing an action. The action, inside the action, we are passing a route. So what this action does is that when a user click on this submit button, the next action the next thing that the form is expected to do is to carry out this action. So when it comes to this action, it looks for this route. This form does submit. And where can it get this form does submit? It will only get it inside our routes file here. So now let me just do it here. We already say that on this form that this is a post method. I want to submit a form to the backend. So post, let me still use this what's called this landing index. So yeah, let me put that like this. So what I'm saying here is that no, this name should now be what's this name here? Let me check this name. Form.submit. Form.submit. So this method of putting name here is called named route. That is, I'm giving a name to my route. It's not a must. I can decide that instead of using this name route, I can just put it like this. And what I'll just come here and I will just remove this one and I'll just tell it to us to come here. You understand? But I love named routes a lot. Because to me, it makes my code readable and makes more sense. So now, let me remove this named route from this one. Let me just be like this. So what I'm saying is that when they click on that submit button on that form, then it will look at that action. The action is pointing to form.submit. So on my web here, then I created a route. I'm saying that the logic should be inside this store function under contact controller. And I'm giving the route a name of form.submit. So now let me go to that controller. I'll create another function. I'll call it public function store. So before I sweat too much, on my index, when somebody land on my index page, I'm saying that it should go to this index or function. So on this index function, what do I want to show? I want to show this form. I want to show this contact form. So how do I represent that here? I will just say return view contacts. That's just it. Return view contacts. I don't need to say return view contact.blade.php. No, I don't need to do this. This is wrong. Once I use this Laravel function called view. This is the Laravel function called view. Once I use this function called view, I don't need to put .blade.php. Laravel already handles that for me. And also, look at it. I just named it contact. Look at it. Inside this views file, inside this views folder, I have contact.blade.php. So that's why I'm naming it contact here directly. So what this means is that when it gets to this index function, Laravel will just come to this views folder, and look for any file called contact. As long as it can see that contact file, then we are good to go. Do you understand me? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Please let me
Yes.
know if I'm communicating. because I feel like I'm rushing. Okay, thank you. So, okay, don't let me write this code for now. Let's put it here for now. Let's run what we have for now. Let's see. Let's see. So to run our Laravel application, I'll just put it PHP artisan serve. PHP artisan serve. So you can see my server is running on this. So I just click on it. Let's see what we have. Wow, look at our form. Please don't mind me. I'm not a front-end guy. A front-end guy will color this form very well and it will look beautiful. So don't mind me. But at least what we just want to test is the functionality, the logic. You understand? So this is the form. The name, your email, your address, and the message. Then the person clicks on what's it called? The person clicks on submit button, and that should work. I'm coming, please. So I don't want it to open on that far. Let me just put it. Let me put it here. Please, if you don't understand, let me know. So. Okay. Let me do something here first. So let's run it. So my name is Shadi. So my email is shadi@gmail.com. Let's see what we have. My address is Lokoja. My message is just testing out random things. So let me click on this button. Now, this is what we have. I will explain. Just hold on. So this, after clicking that submit button, what happens is that, that submit button have been linked to form.submit. So it comes here to check for any route named form.submit. Yes, it can find it. So it looks for what is happening here. So what I'm saying is that, okay, the functionalities for this route will be found inside this contact controller class. The method is store. So it looks for contact controller class and looks for a method called store. Hope you understand. So inside the method store called store, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing DD. DD is a Laravel function. It's called DIDOM. So inside this method called store, I'm passing a request class in Laravel. So the function of request class, you can see as from what you can see here, you can see everything I have that I input on that was called form has been displayed here. So what request class does is that whatsoever input you are bringing in from your form, it takes them in. You understand? And also this token is being retrieved from here. Let me show us. Where is it? This at CSRF is what is generating that token for us. You understand? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we are good. We are good with it. Yes.
Okay. So I'm coming. Uh okay. Okay. So now this is what I want to do. I want to validate my request. I want to validate my request so that a user won't just put in rubbish for me and I will dump that rubbish in my DB. So that's the reason why I'm validating. So to validate my request, what I'm saying here is that name, my name is required. What else do we have? Email is required. What else do we have? I think we don't have subject. I think we have address, and I think we have message. Our thing. Oh, so Email is required and it must be of type mail. Name is required and it must be of type string, and the maximum characters should be 255. Anything more than 255 is even too much. The maximum character should be 20. Address is required. It should be of type string, and my maximum character should be 100. My message, let me just leave it like that. So what this means is that name, definitely I have name coming from I have name coming from my what's called form. This is it. This is the name, right? Email, address, message. So I'm validating those things. So what I'm saying here is required. I said required. What required means is that if you are sending me mail, a something called name, there must be value to it. You can't just send an empty value for name. It will bounce it back. That's the meaning of that required here. And I'm saying that that name, on that name field, let's say you put in just numbers there, it will bounce it back. It should be a string. We already know what string is. And the maximum character for that name should be 20. So for some of us that our name is Ajanle Koko, anything, Oluwaju, everything. As long as your name character has passed 20, to bounce you back, telling you that's exceeded the number of character limits. You understand? So that's just my own way of validation. So after validating, so I want to instantiate my model. I have a model for my contact. So let me just instantiate it. New contact is equal to new contact. So is uh this is the way you instantiate your class. You understand? I already have this model called contact. Hey, Jesus, please give me a minute, please. Please, I'm coming. Hello? Yeah, apologies. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
I can
Uh,
hear.
okay, so
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I've been starting my class. So okay. So this new contact is a variable that I've passed my class, which is my model into. So what's it called? So there is a name. Definitely, there's a name attribute on contacts. So I want to pass my request name here. New contacts. What else again do we have? Email address, email, request, email, new contacts, address, request, address, new contacts, the last one, message. Message is equal to request. I was thinking, no, request, message. Then I now save the record. So new contact, save. So let me explain this because you might not understand. So let me explain. So after validating my inputs here, we already understand where these ones are coming from, right? They are coming from that form. So now let me also point out something so that I won't get confused. From this our form here, we have input type, and the last one is text area. And each of the input type or text area, it has a name attribute, right? So the name you give it here is what we are calling here. Please take notes. The name attribute that we give it here is what we are calling on our controller. Let's imagine that the name attribute I give it here is, let's just imagine that the name attribute I give it here is naming. Let me just put it as naming. It's just an example. When I get here, this one will not be name. It will be what? Naming. Does that make sense? Eh?
Yes.
So let's understand that the name attributes we give our elements here is what we are referencing on our own logic here. It's very important. Now, request. This request class, definitely the name, the email, the address, the message. I've already dumped it for us before. And this is what we have on our screen. I'm coming. This is what we have. So the name, these are our request, email, message. If you are not sure of your name, of the names that you should make use of on the DB, on the logic side, the first thing you can do, just like what I did here, is that you can first dump. Just do something like this. Did the request all. That is all your requests. You want to see them. So with that, you'll see the names that you should reference to help you. So now, that's all. So let's run our code. Let's see how it looks like. Uh, Let me refresh it. Let me call it caller@gmail.com. My address, testing as new contacts form. Let's see what will happen. It's no longer showing anything after I've clicked on save. Is understandable. Because for my logic here, after I saved it, I didn't do any other thing. You understand? But let's check our DB to see maybe the thing maybe it's fully saved or not. So let me refresh. Now look at our DB. We now have the record of Mr. Caller. You understand? So Caller is now here. You can see. Can you see? They created that and updated as automatically picks the current date and timestamp. You understand? And look at it. I'm in Nigeria, 16:13, but it's saved at 15:20. That's UK's time. So something is going somewhere. So there's a way to fix that. Just go back to your ENV. I'm coming up. Go back to your. I want to remember that thing. I've forgotten. That DP time zone. Please let me Google it. I've forgotten the name, the key name. That should be the DP time zone. The time zone in Laravel. So you can also be able to check. I also get the name of coming post. Time zone. Yeah. Time zone. I think it's app time zone. Yeah, I've seen what I'm looking for. So there is a key called app time zone. App time zone. So my own time zone is Africa/Lagos. So Because I've updated my record, because I've updated a .env record, I need to restart my server. It's very important. So let me go back to my phone. Let me reload it. Let me call it daily now. Daily@gmail.com. Test address. Checking out time zone. So let's see what the time stamp will look like now. Hold on. It's still pointing me to this 15. I'm coming. Oh, it looks like a fish. Service. I'm coming, please. Uh, PHP artisan config patch. Okay. Patch. I'm coming, please. So let me restart my server. Don't mind me with my funny name, though. I'm just testing. Don't let me waste my time here. I will definitely get that across to us. Don't worry. I'll get that across to us. Don't worry. But this is how to change timestamp. I think it's still running me to catch. That's why. So, okay. Let me go back here. Let me create another page called sources. I don't just want it to be showing us blank page. So, sources.lead.php. Let me copy out same for us. So now after it's finished saving, this is what I want to do. I want it to redirect to sources page so that user will know that at least something has happened, because that blank page doesn't make sense. So redirect, I'll just say return view sources. I hope you can still remember this view, and I'm putting in sources here. I don't need to put sources.plate.php. You understand? Just the name of the file. So let me try again. Um, if, uh, if, let's come first, testing, let's see. Can you see? Your message has been sent. You understand? So what the concept I just taught us is how to redirect to a page, maybe after we submitted a form. You understand? So you can do it that way. But also, you remember, it's still on the same URL landing page, which doesn't make sense. But definitely, let's still use it like this for now. We'll learn more about that one with time. So let me hear from us. I've rushed us. There's still a lot of things I want to do, but time, but it's not how far, but it's how well. So let me take time to hear from us. Any question before moving ahead? Yeah, okay. Let's start with him.
Um, well, whatever you've been saying since, because I followed, I even stopped working, I stopped like checkmating what you then with us on the system. What I feel is I don't think we might have like questions per se for now. I'm just looking for my own, and I don't think I have any question per se to say. All I just want is that probably by the time we watch the video and then we can't post anything for now. So I just feel you should just give us virtually everything we need to do, teach us all you need to teach us. And then by the time we check it subsequently, you understand, we have questions to ask. Because there are a lot of things you are trying to explain to us now. So it's not like we are working with it at a very slow speed. We are working with your speed at this point in time. So I feel just give us all the explanation you need, give us everything you want to teach us. By the time we watch it subsequently and then try to implement what you are teaching, we can have questions based on that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tosin. Any other person that wants to talk? Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my
Yeah,
friend.
thanks for today's class. Also, I just want to it's just like a suggestion that the recording, please let it show more of the coding itself than
Okay.
the face of the tutor. I think we had challenge during the last recording, so
Okay.
we could not see more of the code. We could just hear the voice, but we need
Okay.
more of the face of the screen.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
That's fine. Thank you for that. Uh.
Yeah,
Is there?
that's my own. Yeah, that's my own view too. The recording, we, we just hear voices, not really like we are seeing the codes and all that. So, help us if you can help us work on that. And I think, like Mr. Tosin said, it's until maybe for me too. When we practice what we have been explaining now, I believe we will have questions. So that's just what I want to say, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now look at this function now. This top function, just to keep record, a simple record on the PB. We've used like more than 10 lines of code, right? But there's a better way to do this. There's a better way to do this instead of stressing. There's a better way to do this. So, like I said here, we passed in request class. This is Laravel initiative and request class here, which makes sense. But also, we can create our own request class in Laravel. We can create our request class ourselves. So let me just quickly do one. So PHP artisan make request. Let me just call it contact request. Let me call it contact request. Let's see. So it has generated a file for us inside app HTTP request folder. So let's look for it. App HTTP request folder, and the name is contact request. So now let's look at this. We have by default we have two functions. We have the authorized function and we have the rules functions. The authorized function is returning a boolean, and we know the meaning of boolean. A boolean can either be true or false, while the rules function is returning an array. So the first thing I need to change here, I will change this first to true, and I will tell us the reason. The authorized function, what it's doing is that it's checking if the person that is calling that class is authorized to call it, and I want it to pass. That's why I'm just putting it as true. If it's false, it will never run that code. So let's put it as true. Now for the rules function, let me go back to my controller. Instead of doing my validation here, let me just copy it out. I'll just copy it out and come here and paste it here. So simple. Then I'll remove this line of code. There's something called dependency injection. Dependency injection. So this contact request, I will just inject it directly inside this function. Contact request directly. So and then I passed in create a variable for it called request. So I've injected it like that. So what I can now do is that also I want to talk about something. We have something called mass assignment in Laravel, and it's being done from the model level. What is the usefulness of mass assignment? I will explain to us. So now look at our table. on our table, we have name, email, address, message, columns. Name, email, address, message, column. I don't want somebody on the form to go and add an extra value to this, an extra, or maybe create like an extra field and want to send them together to this table. I don't want. So in order to avoid, either it can be a mistake from the front end or intentional, in order to avoid somebody messing up with my database, I will always advise that you go with mass assignments. So how do we do mass assignments in Laravel? So simple. So I always make use of this method. Label. I will explain. Some people make use of this method. Public guard. They are doing the same thing. They are just opposites. What label will do is that my field label, I'll put in my column name, the column name that I want to take in, which is name, email, address, message. Name, email, address, message. These are my columns. So what this means is that each time I'm saving into this contact model, it will only save to this column, name, email, address, message. Yeah. Any other column, it will never save into it. You understand? It will only save into this name, email, address, and message column. So that's what it will do. That's for the field. I'm coming, please. Please hold on. So, apologies. So, that's what this label is doing. But some people, they don't like it. They prefer to use this guard. What this guard is doing is that it's the exact opposite of the label. What it's doing is that it's telling, if you put it as an empty array, what it's saying is that what's it called? Anything you pass in is taking it. You understand? Anything you pass in is taking it. Unlike fillable, but me, I love explicitly defining my columns. So I'll make use of fillable directly. So this is how to do mass assignment, fillable. Now, let me come to my controller. So I'll just do something like this. My model, which is contacts. No, not contacts request. My model is contacts. So I want to create. So I'm passing my request. I won't do all because inside that request, remember we have that token there, and I'm not saving that token on my DB. So I will do validated. I will explain. So instead of all this line of code that we have, what this one here already solves for them. Don't let me delete the code. Let me just comment it out. So instead of writing all this much code, this single line of code already solved for it. So let me explain it. So contact is my model. So I'm creating an instance of the model called contact, and I'm passing request. Instead of passing all, I won't pass request all there, because if I pass request all there, remember the other time when I did die dump, I have token as part of the request, and I'm not saving token on my DB, so I'm not passing request all. So what I'm doing is that I'm passing request validated. So let's see what request validated looks like first before saving. Request validated. Let's see what it looks like first. So I think seeing what it looks like will make us to better understand the flow. So let me reload. Test at test.gmail.com. Test address test message. So let's see what's that validated we see. Can you see that request validated or removes that token? It's only putting the name, email, address, message. And this is why it is like that. Let me explain. Inside this contact request file, you can see I validated these four things, which are name, these four fields, which are name, email, address, message. Let me comment this message out. Don't let me validate this message. Let's see how it will look like. Can you see? Request validated is not showing message again because I didn't validate it. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is that I only want to save all the fields that are validated. If there's a field that I did not validate, then I'm not saving it. Simple. And inside my model, I've already created a mass assignment where I've defined the columns that I want to save on my database. So let me go back to my database. As I have name, column, email, address, message. Let's assume that even though I have all these columns, let's assume that I do not want to save anything inside message column. Inside my model, I won't just add where is the model again? Inside my model, I won't add this message column there. That's just it. You understand? So the what I have here are the records, are the columns that I want to save on my DB. So that's just that. So let me remove this and let me go back here to update my code. So let's see how this one will work. Let's see how it will work. So can I see? Let's see. So you can see test at test.com, test blah blah blah. Can you see that? So instead of having so much lines of code, I've been able to reduce it to just one line using mass assignments. And I just passing the validated request here. Does this make sense? Is it better? Faith, let me help you. Does it make sense? Yeah, talk now. You're raising up your hand.
Okay, I don't understand what you explained.
Okay, so which one?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So which one? Is it the mass assignment or
The concept of the mass assignment.
So the concept of the mass assignment is simple. It's just a way to make sure that the fields being passed to the DB are the correct fields that you want to save. That's all. Like it's just to make sure that the fields that are being passed from your form are the fields that you want to save on your DB. No more or less. Let's say your DB has like 10 columns, and out of those 10 columns, you only want to save 5 on each time you call your create method or maybe update method. You only want to save 5 columns there. The 5 columns that you want to save, those are the columns that you pass on your mass assignment, on your Philip. Let me go back. I'm coming. Find my system only. So those are the columns that you want to pass. Any column that you want to be updated on your DB, just pass it on this Philip. That's all. Hope you understand. Then this request validated, what it's doing is that what I'm passing here is that I'm saying that all those requests that I passed inside contact request, as long as they are validated, those are the ones that what I want to save. So any other request that is coming from the form, as long as it is not validated on that contact request or class, then it won't be passed. So simple. Assuming I want to pass every request, I will have done something like this. Request all. So what request all will do is that even if they are validated or they are not validated, as long as they are requests coming from the form, it will pass them. Do you understand? So there's a difference between request all and request validated. From the name validated, what it means is that those requests have already been validated. You understand? And what's the idea of validation? The idea of validation is very simple, such that you can be sure that what you are taking to your database has been vetted to meet your standard of data structure in your database. Let's assume that there's a field in your database that you call that I can hear you. I can hear you. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Faith, can you hear me? I think she's having a tutorial. So let's assume there's a column on your database that's
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear
let's
you.
assume a column on your database is called address, just like we have it. And for the address column, you've defined the data type to be string. Then somebody maliciously on the front end on the form decides to put in number there. You understand? It won't take it in. That it will have bounced off that person from the position that this thing does not match the expected data format. You understand? That's why sometimes when you go on some website and you want to type in name, let's say they're asking you to put your first name and your last name, and you on your first name just put in a character word. And let's assume those people has already they've already defined some validation that this first name it must take a minimum of 3 characters, and you've put in 2 characters. That's why you see them giving something like a red flag there that your name should be like minimum of 3 characters. You understand? Those are validation. You understand? As at that time, your record has not yet been saved on the DB. You understand? So that's the idea of validation. The idea of validation is just what to make sure that the inputs that the user is giving to us are being cross-checked well, and we are sure that it meets the criteria that we want them to meet before we now decide to save them on our DB or do any data manipulation that we want to do. Does that make sense? Eh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Any other question? Tinu? I think she's on the call.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
No,
You said what?
yes, I'm here. I said no question on my end.
Okay. No question for now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For now, yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Abi, I'm with you.
Yeah, please go back to your screen. Sorry for taking you back.
No. It's fine.
Okay. This instantiates my model. Please, can you please explain it? Yeah.
So, time you want to to work with a model, not only in Laravel, it's common in all programming language. Anytime you want to deal with a model, maybe you want to add to a record on the model or child learning manipulation of the model, you instantiate a model. Instantiating a model is like creating a replica of that model for you to work with. You understand? We have a model called contact. That's the model name, contact. And what do I want to do with contact? I want to save a new record. To save a new record on my contact, I will create a copy of that contact model and work with it. So that's what we call instantiation. You can just Google it. What is instantiation in programming? It doesn't apply only to Laravel. You understand? So you instantiate a class. You understand? So those are one of the principles of OOP, object-oriented programming, instantiation. You understand? So instantiation is just like you creating a copy of something. Let me give you a valid example that you can relate to. So, okay, your daddy and your mommy, they came together to produce you. You understand? So you're a copy of your daddy and your mommy. You understand? You're an instance of them. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
Thank
Who
you.
said well?
I have a
You were
young boy with me. Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Another question. Okay, I think we're all fine. No problem. Let me stop here for today. Don't let me stress it because if I want to stress it, there's something I want to go to, but it will take more of our time, and I would like us to first grab this concept first. So, I'm coming. Please hold on. Let me ask again. I think I already asked that question before, but we only had like maybe 3 or 4 people on the call then. How many of us have a Git account? A GitHub account, sorry. Okay, no. If you do not have a GitHub account, just signify. You do not have, signify. So please, Tino and the likes that don't have GitHub account, go to github.com, go and create an account. It's very important. What is the usefulness of GitHub? I will explain. Of Git, GitHub is the company name, but Git is something that we work. So there are different companies of that you can work with for version control. We have GitHub, we have GitLab, we have Bitbucket. But I will encourage that you first go with GitHub for now. With time, you can pick up what you want. So Git is for version control. You understand? Let's say the way Tino is right now. Tino is not in the country, and myself and Tino want to work on the project together. You understand? Instead of working on my own code base here and Tino also working on our own code base there, then when I say, oh, okay, how do we now match our codes together? When I say, okay, use Flash now, Flash, copy it to me. Doesn't make sense. Technology has moved faster. So in order for myself that I'm in Lagos to and Tinu and maybe somebody in Portugal or anywhere in the country to collaborate together on the same project, you make use of Git. Is a version control system. So please let's get our hands on Git for that. So I've already created a repo for us for this because I want to push this code to Git so that we can all have access to it and we can pull it on our system and work with it. I'm coming. So Git status. Where's my Git signal? So, Git signal. I'm coming, please. My system is on. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. It's it's almost minus what's the name? It's Git application. It's push minus origin name. It's it's name. It's sorry. Origin. Hey, Jesus. How have I done to my system? Well, fine. Is it main or master? Let me check. It's push. Let me first put it here. I don't have the time. Apologies, my system is hanging. After this call, I'll have to restart it. What's happening? This enough. This push. Let's see. Origin main. Incoming. Error. Main does not match any. Techhaven. Coming. Coming. Commit again. This is master. Sorry, I'll soon be done. Okay, so I've pushed. So let me get the space. Okay, so this is my code. So anybody can come and clone it, and definitely you have the copy of this source code on your local system, and you can work with it. Hope that's fine. So Tino Faith, I don't know, as many of us that do not have what was it called? Uh a GitHub account. Please let's create one for ourselves. It's very straightforward, so there's no issue with that. Okay. I think I can still add one more thing before we finish. So maybe next week we'll continue with that in that line. I'm coming. Hmm. How is the system going like this? Please hold on. What's an application? I'm coming, please. Okay. Okay. For those that have access to GitHub already, please can you just clone that application and let me know if you're successful at it. Can you hear me?
Yes,
You
yes.
share the link. Share the link on the group.
Okay, let me share the link here. Sorry. Let's check the chat. So let's clone the application. Let me know if we're able to clone it and get it on our laptop. Mm. So please let me know. Tosin and who else? I'm coming. Yeah, I'm with you.
Hello, please. If someone want to work on the front end, which side is someone going to like the directory folder?
That's views folder.
Resource under resource folder, then inside resource you see view.
You
Okay.
see views, that views folder that I've been working with. That's where you work on.
Yeah. I put from the GitHub, yeah. Everything is there.
You said what?
I put from the GitHub, I put from the GitHub, I put from the GitHub.
You've pulled from the GitHub, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I put from the
Okay.
GitHub, yes.
You now have it on your local system. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Telling me?
yes.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Who else again have been able to try that? I mean, I'm looking for this one that I just worked on now. That's one that, yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I've done it. It's working fine.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. I'm coming. Time has gone because what I want to teach us now will definitely take a lot of time and it might be too much of information for now. It might be too much of information for now. So I'm coming. PHP assistant. So, okay. So let me go to my route again. I want to do something. I want to create a special type of route called resource. So this one will now be contacts. Let me name it contacts. And the class should be, no, don't let me name it contacts. I already have contacts folder. I'll be contacts controller. Let me create a controller. PHP assistant make controller. My Let me name it my contacts book resource. So my contacts book. Now look at it. I had to put a flag here called resource. I will explain what that means. But look at the file. This is my contact book. Let me delete it. I don't like that naming. I'm coming. So it should be my contact book controller. So my contact book controller. This makes sense. I love naming my files the way it should be. So now, but look at this now. I have added an extra flag called resource to the controller. And opening the file, you can see that it has already defined some functions there for me by default. It has defined some functions there for me by default. It's defined this index function, this create function, this store function, this show, edit function, update function, and destroy function. By default, I did not do anything to it. So the only thing I did there was to add this resource flag to it, and voila, everything has been done for me by Laravel. So now, let me ask a question. How many routes do we have here right now? From what you can see so far, how many routes? Tinu? Hello?
Sai?
Ma, how many routes do we have here from what you can see so far?
Can't see. It's tiny.
It's tiny. Hold on.
Yeah, my glasses is tiny.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
didn't
don't
even
worry.
get the question.
Who can see this? Who can see my screen? Faith, how many routes do we have here for now?
3.
3.
I just saw
Okay.
you highlighted so I just
Okay.
checked.
You are correct, but you are not also correct anyway. This is
Really?
a route.
Please tell
Yeah,
me.
I will explain. This is a route. That's one. This is another route. That's two. But this is a resource route. So now to know the number of routes, let me show us PHP artisan route list. You will see the routes that we have now. Now look at it. This one, this get index. So this is it, number one. This post index, this is it, number two. All these ignition check, forget about that one. I'm not the one that created it. They came directly with Laravel. So forget about this one, they came directly with Laravel. So, but now look at this contact, this resource for contact. We have a get method for contact. We have a post method for contact. We have a get method for contact slash create. We have another get contact for get method for contact slash this. Anything you see inside curly braces here is a variable. It means that you can pass in a variable into the. It means that this contact is a variable and it can take in any value. So it can be contact slash one, contact slash shady, contact slash two is a variable. So there's also a put method to it. There's a delete method to it. There's an edit method to it, contact slash one slash edit. Does that make sense? So this contact alone is having like how many routes? Let me count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 routes. 7 routes. This resource is 7 routes on its own. 7 routes. So and look at it. It's already it's generated a named index, a named route for them. Contact.index, contact.store, contact.create, contact.show, contact.update, contact.destroy, contact.edit. So instead of using this method, some people can decide to write it one by one, but I think that's software head. You understand? So there's already a method, just passing it out, just pass it as resource to generate everything for you. So now I already have that controller by using resource, and it has generated all those needed functions for me. These functions, I can decide to say that, okay, I'm not making use of create function. You can decide to delete it. It will still work. You understand? So it's not a must that you must follow the name of this function. That's what I'm trying to let you know. It's not a must. But if you change the name of the function, then you should come on that route and explicitly tell Laravel that's okay. Because by default, Laravel is already looking for index function, store function inside this controller. So if you decide that, okay, I'm not going with index, I want to change it to another name, go on that web.php and define it appropriately. That's okay. I'm coming. Let me go back. This is how you do it. So let's say the index, I'm not using the index. So I'll just do it like this. Route dot get, because I know that it is the get method. This is the index, contact index, and the route is contact. So I'll just come here, contacts. So let me say, let's assume that instead of using index, I want to change it to all. I'll just put it all here. So the name is still contact.index. I can give you still contact.index as the name, or any other name I deem fit. Doesn't matter. So then I'll now come to, it's not contact, sorry, my contact group, sorry. So I'll now come here. I'll now say, okay, I'm not using index again. I'm using all. It's fine. It will work. Does that make sense? Eh? And also,
Yes, yes.
on this your route, it is the way we write it here, it's orderly. You understand? Which means that Laravel reads from number one to the end. So that's why I intentionally placed it above this. If I move this route here like this, let's say I move it here like this, there will be an issue. You understand? Because I want it to override that index, that's why I'm putting it above it. So on this route page, Laravel is reading it from number one to the end, orderly, like that. The way you write it, it's reading it like that. So please, let's be mindful of the order in which we place our routes. It's very important. Okay. Let me just change it to index. And I still have something to do. Yeah, I think we have contact table, right? Contact or contacts. So let me quickly create a view folder for it. Let me call it contacts. Inside the folder. So inside the folder, I'm creating a file. Let me call it index.play.php. So I'll just come here and say return view contact.index. Contact, that contact is inside the views folder. So that's what I'm saying contact, but the contact is a folder. So I'm going to that file called index. So contact.index. So I'm using compass to pack in all my variables that is inside, all my values that is inside this all contact into this. So that's I'm using compass. So let me open this. I'm coming. Let me get one file. Let me copy one code here. Where is this? Yeah. Shit. I'm coming. Let me create another folder. Let me call it layouts. I also have a layouts folder. And I'll call it, let me see the name. Layouts, sorry. Layouts. The file will be art.page.php. And current is art.page.php. So next week we'll still talk more about it because it's like a rush work now and there's still some things to show. ID, name, email. We have another column, city. Address. Address. Contacts. Contacts. Okay, let me check. Slash. So let me check. Slash contacts. think it's contact, not contacts. Okay. Oh my goodness. Let me comment that part out right now because we're yet to work on that part. Is complaining that there's no method, there's no route called contact.show, or what am I saying? I'm coming. Contact.show is not defined. I'm coming. Let me hash it for now. At least for now. And extend more on it later. I mean, that index to see. Okay. Index. Okay, so this is how it looks like. So I've been able to bring out all my records from my database, Collar, all those records that we played with the other time. So let me explain my code before we call it a day here. Let me just explain this. So now on the index, what I'm saying is that it should list out all records on this contact table. You know, this contact is a table on my database, right? So I'm telling it that it should list out all the records on my table. And then the value, I place it inside this all contacts variable. Then I now pass this inside this, or I pass this to contact.index page like this. So this compass is a Laravel function to hold variables which you want to pass to the blade template. So make use of it a lot. You make use of it a lot when passing variables inside the blade template. So just write the name of the inside the compass, you string it like this, it will work. So then I'll now go inside my contact.index.blade. So this one is just HTML code actually. So what I doing here, look at this for each. This for each, I think I've taught us this loop before. So what I'm doing is that I'm looking through all the records inside that all contacts because I understand that that all contacts is an array. That is, it has more than one record. You understand? So I'm looping it. So I said all contacts as contact. This contact here, I'm defining it here for the first time. You understand? So then I'm making use of that contact, getting the ID, the name, the email, the address, and the message. Those are my fields that I want to print out. You understand? So, so that's why you are having ID, name, email, message fields. You understand? So that's how that is. I know that we have questions, so let me listen to our question before we call this on the wrap for today. Yo, so I'm with us. Ibukun, Abib, Adeolu. Any question? Faith, Daniel.
No question from my end. We'll still go by the videos again, but no question from my end.
But you think you understand this one that I just finished working on?
Yes. Coming to
Adeolu, thank you. Adeolu, what's up? Adeolu. Faith, I will still call you. If you like, do thumbs up. Faith,
Sir?
how far? Are you sure you understand what I just rushed to right now?
I, ah, I understand a bit, sir. I'll
Somebody
go
said,
through it again.
okay. No problem. It's fine. Daniel, how far?
Oh yeah, yeah, I understand, but my network is a little bit giving me issues some sense. So I'll still go through the class again. But I understand everything total. Everything here is totally clear.
Okay. Habib.
Okay, I will go through it when watching the video again.
Okay. No problem. Thank you so much. Oluwatosin, right? I think it's Oluwatosin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I understand everything as usual, but I'm still going to go through the video again and then try to watch it in slow mode and then try to also follow through with those codes and try to implement them. So,
Okay, thank you. Oluwatobi Alpha.
Yeah. It's clear.
It's clear. Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. I'll push my updated code. So please, let me share this GitHub link on the group so that we won't miss it. So I'll push my code right now. So thank you so much for being patient enough. Thank you for your time. Here's the code Abby. So we had it promise and also test update is push minus stop. So I've pushed the latest updates on Git, so you can just go and clone that. You can go and clone that and definitely ask questions. Please ask questions. And also, let me use this opportunity to also remind us, please, as for many of us that have not tagged that the articles I've shared with us, please, on our LinkedIn, now I beg, please help us go on your LinkedIn, you understand? Talk about the article, tag me on the article. My name on LinkedIn is Oluwasegun Ige. You understand? Let us know how the article has been of help to you. I think I've pushed like 3 articles to us on the group. So please, and I also believe that all of us were on LinkedIn. So please let's let's do that. Yeah. Thank you so much. Let's enjoy our week. Ellen, I don't know if there's something you want to say.
I'm here. I'm here actually. The See, guys, this is another week of learning. And kudos to facilitators Shegun and Adebayo who has been doing justice to this. Yeah, please, guys, if there's anything that I would also say is that let's make sure that I know some of us have started doing this. Let's make sure we use that WhatsApp group a lot to ask questions in the course of the week so that it's not just dry in there in the course of the week. It's a community. Let's ask questions. Your question would help the other person, and vice versa. So let's ask questions, and our facilitators are happy to answer those questions. It's not just about teaching; it's also about mentorship as well. So yeah, and also there are opportunities and things like that we all can share in the group. So thank you very much, guys. And once again, it's another week of learning, and next week we look forward to even more. So yeah, see you all next Sunday. Yeah, cheers. Shegun, any other thing before we
Let me,
close?
that's all for me.
All right. All right. Thank you, guys. And yeah, have a lovely week ahead. Bye.
Yeah.
That's